So Scream 6 released a little over a week ago at the time of recording this. Naturally, as Scream fans, we are now looking to Scream 7. It has yet to be announced, but we all know that they're going to do Scream 7. So here's 3 pitches for Scream 7. Let's go.
You're okay. This one, real fucking ugly.
You're dead.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
You just bought yourself another Saturday. Christ. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Coming in at number 1, Gale as Ghostface. Now hear me out, Before you freak out in the comment section below, just hear me out. So in Scream 5, we had the death of Dewey. And we haven't really seen Gale deal with that trauma of losing her number 1 best friend. I mean, it was alluded to in the middle of Scream 6 when Gale was talking to when Gale was talking to Sam. She said you can find one person and you can kick it together, because she was alluding to her family life. So we heard her mention Dewey and how important he was to her. So why don't we just dive fully into that in Scream 7? Make Gale Ghostface. And the reason that she's Ghostface is because she wants to kill the Carpenter sisters. Now, the Carpenter sisters are arguably the reason for the death of Dewey. Dewey was in the hospital as Tara was recovering. They came to Dewey's house when he was living alone, and they basically dragged him into the whole plot of Scream 5. So what if Gale blamed the Carpenter sisters for the death of Dewey? If it wasn't for Sam and Tara and the Core 4 dragging Dewey into it, maybe he would have never been in harm's way, and maybe he would still be alive today for them to possibly rekindle things. So I think you can totally lean into Courtney Cox as Ghostface, and she can maybe have an accomplice, but I think for this to work, it's Gale grieving over the death of Dewey, and she is going on a total rampage, because not only was Dewey murdered because of the Core 4, specifically Sam and Tara, but then in Scream 6, she was almost murdered because the Carpenter sisters came to New York City, where she had lived. If the Carpenter sisters didn't come to New York, would Gale have been stabbed almost to death? I don't know, but I think there's a lot to work with there that we can make Gale Ghostface. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, leave a comment below and tell me if you like it or if you fucking hate it. I mean, whatever. Pitch number 2. This one I really want to see, okay? This one is picking up right where Scream 6 left off. So a big problem with Scream 6 is the plot armor that the Core 4 get and how they are able to survive these brutal killings, these stabbings, and somehow they make it through it every single time. So what if we actually start right from the ending events of Scream 6? So Chad is being loaded into the ambulance. Mindy is in the ambulance with him. Sam and Tara are walking off as they were at the end of Scream 6 when Demi Lovato's new song kicked in. So we pick up and Chad is being driven to the hospital, and we learn the actual extent of his wounds. He starts to slip into a coma. He is on the verge of bleeding out, and you just start on just a high note on Scream 6. Right when Scream 7, you start off on a high note for Scream 7. Chad's about to slip into a coma, like I just said, and then you reveal that the new Ghostface is the ambulance driver. Can you imagine just the beginning of Scream 6, the EMTs in the ambulance and Mindy are freaking out because Chad is about to bleed out or he's slipping into a coma, and then the ambulance is taken over by a Ghostface and he starts to drive to an undisclosed location with Chad and Mindy, And then Mindy has to fight Ghostface while she's all, you know, hyped up on drugs because she was stabbed in the subway. I just think, you know, I think Scream, it's very formulaic. Every Scream movie, it basically starts out the same. You know, we get our first kill, and then we meet up with our main cast of characters after the title card. And, you know, it's kind of like a slow burner of a start. We see the characters in their day-to-day lives, and then Ghostface gets involved. But what if we just start right from the events of Scream 6? We deal with the wounds that Chad has, Mindy has, you know, that everybody had to endure. And then, you know, maybe once they fight Ghostface off from the ambulance, they do arrive at the hospital, and then we catch up with Gale. And then, you know, maybe that's where the flip, you know, switches, and then Gale is the murderer. And then that ties into pitch number 1. Maybe. I just think Scream has to change the formula. They kind of did with Scream 6 with revealing the killer, but then they went right back to another mysterious killer right after they killed the one who was revealed. So I think starting right from the events of Scream 6 would be a great way to revitalize and freshen up the franchise. You know, pull a little bit of a Halloween 2, so that Scream 6 and Scream 7 could be, you know, back-to-back viewings, double feature, if you will. And then, you know, once we get Chad to the hospital, or maybe Chad dies in the beginning, who knows? Then we can do a time jump so everybody's healed up, and then we can get into the plot of Scream 7, whatever that winds up being. But for this pitch number 2, I think Scream 7 needs to start right where Scream 6 left off. Pitch number 3. You knew we weren't going to get through this video without bringing up Stu Macher. But for my pitch, we're going with Cult of Ghostface. So I think Cult of Ghostface is something that the fan base really wants. I don't want to speak for everybody, but at the same time I do. I think everybody's in agreement that the Cult of Ghostface would be such a great idea. And I think, you know, Radio Silence has already teased us to the Cult of Ghostface. Richie and Amber were on a Stab forum where there was radical fans on there wanting to continue the movie franchise. So, hear me out. Imagine if we get a bunch of Ghostface killers throughout the movie, and then at the end, the ringleader winds up being Stu Macher, who spearheaded the online forum. And everybody basically worships him because he was the original killer in 1996. I think that would be an amazing way to not only get Stu Macher, but then revitalize the franchise with bringing us like 10 Ghostfaces at once. And I think that, you know, this would be a perfect way to bring Stu back, but not to retread the steps, but bring him to this almost god level that these cult members hold him to, this higher standard. Not only that, but I think you can match this with my previous pitch. So you start right from Scream 6, and Chad's in the ambulance, and the ambulance driver could be a part of the Cult of Ghostface, as I was mentioning. And then you have this whole opening act where Sam, Tara, and Mindy have to try and, you know, get the hijacked ambulance, and they have to save Chad's life, get him to the hospital before he bleeds out. And basically, we would build up the Scream 6 killers, because not everybody loves them. It's obvious. You know, not everybody loves the Scream 6 reveal. But I think that them being a part of the Cult of Ghostface, so not only are they trying to avenge Richie, but they are part of the Cult of Ghostface. And it wasn't just Detective Bailey and Richie who were able to gather all of the artifacts from the Scream franchise, but they had the help from all these people throughout the whole country. You know, that makes it almost more plausible. And then you can go so many directions with that. Anybody could be a part of the Ghostface. So now our core 4 will really be, you know, turning their heads at every which turn, because there could be 10 killers, 20, 30 killers spanning the whole entire continent of North America. Hell, you could take Scream to Europe, and there could be Cult of Ghostface in Europe. But what I really think was a good thing in Scream 6 was that they made the movie set on Halloween. So I think not only do you do Cult of Ghostface, but you do a time jump to Christmas, or you totally do a year, so not this upcoming Christmas, but next Christmas, so that the cast of characters could have time to regroup and heal up after the ambulance would be attacked. And then you can have Cult of Ghostface revealed on New Year's Eve. When the clock strikes midnight, Stu Macher pulls off his mask at some New Year's Eve party or something, and then everybody at the party could be revealed as Cult of Ghostface, and they turn their knives and their attention towards the core four. You know, I think I'm loving the idea. Here's Post Video Max coming in here to say one thing I forgot to say in my pitches. So with the whole Cult of Ghostface aspect, I think that could lead you into many directions to bring the franchise. I think you allow Stu to say, everybody dies! And everybody does die at the end, and the Cult of Ghostface seemingly wins at the end of Scream 7. You finally let a Ghostface win. And then for Scream 8, if Spyglass and Radio Silence decide to bring the franchise forward and they decide to milk it for more money, I think you do a Kill Bill style Scream movie where you have Chad and Sam be the only two survivors of the cult of Ghostface, and they have to hunt down Stu Macher and his cult in order to get revenge for Mindy and Tara's death. I think that would be a great movie. It flips the whole Scream genre, the whole Scream franchise on its head, and you have a revenge movie where somebody is hunting down Ghostface instead of Ghostface hunting down somebody. You can even have Sam in her Ghostface attire going to hunt down Stu. And if you feel like the Scream franchise needs the whodunit aspect, then you just keep who survived the killings at the end of Scream 7 a mystery. So you don't know who's underneath the Ghostface robe and mask until the final act, when they finally hunted down Stu and they pull off the mask, and then you find out who survived Scream 7 and who is after Stu Macher. I think a movie hunting down Stu Macher would be fucking awesome. Okay, I had to say that. I had to throw that in. This is me after I recorded the video, noticing that I didn't say that. I had that in my head, but I just wanted to throw that in the video. Okay, all right. Back to the originally scheduled video. What do you guys think? Leave a comment down below. New Year's Eve, Stu Macher, Cult of Ghostface. Almost a Christmas vibe. You know, we could get Ghostface in the snow. I know a lot of people have wanted to see Ghostface in the snow. I think that would be an awesome visual. Just the blood in the snow, the black robe on the white snow falling in the sky. I think there's something really magical that Radio Silence has put together with their rendition of Scream and their trilogy, because Scream 7 could truly go anywhere. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you like my 3 pitches? I mean, there was kind of 4, because then I threw in that little thing about New Year's Eve and then the Christmas setting. But yeah, okay, 3.5 pitches. What did you guys think of them? Let me know down below. There's only one thing left to say. Are you not entertained?